We are discussing solutions for LeetCode Biweekly Contest 126. Jump to specific questions using timestamps in the video description. Like and subscribe if you enjoy my content and to stay up to date on new videos. We'll be going through each of the questions one by one. Today's contest, I think, is actually not too bad on balance. I managed to finish 3 questions. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'm close to the 4th. I'll try to get all 4 questions next time. Question 1 and 2 is unusually difficult for questions 1 and 2, but questions 3 and 4 are actually not that hard. All right, and so I'm gonna start with question 1. No, I'm not Moransky. I wish I were. Question 1. Find the sum of encrypted integers. You're given an integer array nums containing positive integers. We define a function encrypt, such that encrypt replaces every digit in X with the largest digit in X. So for instance, encrypt 523 equals 555, encrypt 213 equals 333. So find the sum of encrypted elements. This is I would say a fairly easy question, all things considered, even though it's harder than the normal question ones you'll see. The idea is you need to define an encrypt function that turns these things into their encrypted form. Right? So 10 should become 11, 21 should become 22, and 31 become 33. Once you have this encrypted function, everything should be easy. So an encrypted function actually looks something like this. The idea is you first want to turn this into a string. So what I'm doing here is I then sort the string. Right, I turn n into a string, I sort it from small to largest, and I take the very last element. So that gives me basically the high digit. This is the highest digit. And then what I want to do is to construct a new string of the same length as the original string, except all the digits are replaced with high digits. And finally, I replace that. I turn that string back into an integer. So this function here turns e.g. 11. Yeah, so this is basically the encrypt function. So once you have the encrypt function, things become easy. Total equals to 0. For n is nums. Total plus equals encrypt n. That should be fairly straightforward. Okay, so question 2. Let me just read the chat. Hello, this was rough for me. 2 out of 4. Oh well. You know what? It's time to learn. It's time to learn. Even though I'm streaming these contests, there are people on this chat that do better than me. Spider-Man, don't be disappointed. Okay, don't be disappointed. And HX, don't be disappointed. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys before I jump in the second question. I'm gonna tell you something. These contest questions are super difficult, okay? They're ultra difficult. In real life, you will not run into programming questions like these, right? So you will not run into, don't think of this as real life questions. This is just like a way to flex your muscles so you can get better in general. If you can't solve, even if you solve 0, okay, you should solve 1. You should definitely solve 1. But even if you solve like 0, it's still not a big deal. It doesn't mean that you're a bad programmer. You're just going to learn. Okay. Question 2. Mark elements on array by performing queries. You're given a 0-index array nums of size n of positive integers. This part is actually important. Positive integers. You're given a 2D array queries of size n, where queries I equals to index I ki. Initially marked, and then you have to mark them using the following strategy. So for every turn, every query, you mark the elements at index I, if it's not already marked. And then mark ki unmarked elements with the smallest values. If multiple such elements, mark the ones with the smallest indexes. If less than ki, then mark all of them. Okay? So basically what this question is saying is that you start with a bunch of nums, and then you mark them. Okay? Let's go through an example. So let's say this is nums, right? This guy right here. 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1. Okay, this is your nums. So what? So in query, the first query is 1, 2. So 1, 2, it says one query is actually this one query has 2 steps. Step 1, this 1 over here, we're going to mark index number 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to index number 1. We're going to mark him. And then we're going to pick 2 of the smallest remaining elements to mark. So the smallest remaining is this guy, and this one over here. So these 2 are marked. Okay? And then the third step is to calculate the remaining sum. So the remaining sum is 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1, which is 8. Okay? So that's 8 is the first number. So the next step is 3, 3. So 3, 3. So same thing, we go to index number 3 here and we kill it. But since it's already killed, it doesn't matter. It's already killed, it doesn't matter. Let me just use a different color. So these are kill, kill, kill. And then we're going to kill 3 more people, starting from the smallest one. So we're going to kill this guy, and this guy. So when the numbers are the same, then kill from left to right, based on the order. Okay? So now these guys are all killed. So what is the sum here? The sum here is going to be just 3. And then the last step is 4, 2. So 4, 2, we're going to kill number 4. And then kill, there's only one guy left, so kill him. So this is 0. So your answer is 8, 3, 0. So this is what the question is asking for. So this is what the question is asking for. Okay? So what do you want to do after that is, so how do you solve it? Well, you solve it exactly as the way you do it, right? So exactly as the way. So what you want to do is you keep track of who is alive and who is killed. And then for each query, just execute the query. Just kill the person at index I, which is easy, and then find the k smallest people to kill. So this part is actually trickier. So the way I did it, I'll show you guys what I did. Basically, I use a heap, and so I have an array that is that starts with false. I want to mark them as I go along. I count how many people I mark, so I know when I mark everybody. Okay. So this one is just for me to do a heap. So I use a heap to find the smallest item that I have at any one time. And what I do is I put the value and index in the heap, so I know which index to kill. So after that, I just say for I and k in queries, if not mark I, then mark the guy, and total minus equals to nums I. So when calculating the sum here, one way is at every round you just add them up, but this is slow, right? This is ON because you have to add everything up in this array. The other way is just add everything up at the start, and then if you kill somebody, just subtract him from the total, which is what I'm doing. The total is the sum, and then every time I kill someone, I mark him, I'll subtract him from the total. And then if I want to, so step 1 is kill I, then second step is I want to kill k smallest, right? So k smallest, what I do is I basically use a heap, I heap pop, and then I kill him off, I mark him, and I subtract him from the total, and I use an array to keep track of I append the total after that remains after I do each query. So this should work also. Let me see if there's any questions here. In live, sure, technical interviews? Yeah. So in technical interviews, so yes and no. You will not get question 4 type of thing in technical interview. I guarantee you. No way. So in technical interview, you can get difficulties of like question 3 and question 2. But mostly question 2. Go, you solve all 4 questions, but 4 wrong submissions in Q3. So go, you are fantastic. I have to say, you're fantastic. I did manage to finish question 4. Use heap to get k minimum elements. Yeah. You can use k minimum, but I need to check whether it's marked or not. I guess maybe you can do that too in the heap. I'm not sure. Some issue somewhere else. Yeah, HX, feel free to try again. So I actually try the contest all multiple times because I often cannot finish question 4. So I will just redo question 4 when I have the chance. So I actually redid question 4 for the last 2 contests. And I have a video on the question 4 of the last 2 contests. If people want to watch them. Okay, question 3. Replace question marks in string to minimize its value. You're given a string S, and every character in S is either a lowercase letter or question mark. For a string T, length M, only lowercase English letters will define cost as the number of questions equal to the Ti that appear before it. So for instance, ABB cost 0 is this guy, is 0. There's no A's before him. This guy, his cost is 1 because of 1 A before him, and cost B is 0 because no B before him. Okay? Yeah, I think this is fairly straightforward. And so the way to think about it is, let's say, okay, the way to think about it is you want to think of, if you want to exchange a question mark with a letter, what additional cost are you adding? Okay, so if the cost of this is like, I don't know what's the cost. If the cost is some number, okay, if this question marks becomes A, what will I cost? What would this cost? First, it's going to cost is increase, its own cost is going to increase, right? Question mark, initially you don't count it. Its own cost, because there's 1 A before him, will be 1. But that's not the only thing that increases. The other thing is, this A over here, his cost will also increase. So if I change this question mark to an A, I get a cost increase of 1 plus 1, which is 2. What if I change it to C? If I change this question mark to C, initially it's going to cost nothing because there's no C in front of it. But there are 3 C's after it. So the 3 C's after it, the cost of these 4 C's. So these costs of these 4 C's will all increase. So if I change this question mark to a C, its cost is going to be 4. It's going to increase the cost of the whole array by 4. Its own cost is 0, but there are 4 other guys afterwards whose cost will go up. So basically, if you look at it carefully, the cost of changing a question mark to a letter is just the frequency of the letter, because it's the frequency, its number of occurrences before it plus the number of occurrences after it. It's just the frequency of that letter. So if you want to minimize cost, well, just calculate the frequency of all the letters in the whole array, and then find the guys that have the lowest cost. There is one more catch though. There is one more catch, which is, let's say I increase this first guy. C is not good, right? If I turn this into an A. Let's say I turn this into an A. So what happens here, these guys will actually have 3 A's instead of 2. So this guy's cost calculus will change. This guy's cost function will change. So he will have to be a B. It cannot be A, because there are now 3 A's, since the earlier question mark is now A. So what you want to do? What you want to do is basically, you want to keep a. So this is not the best code because I tried a few things. Because basically what you need to do is you have to go down the list. Every time you see a question mark, you remember the question mark. Every time you see a non-question mark, you add the frequency by 1. right? So you're basically constructing a frequency table. Thanks, HX. And see you next time. You're constructing a frequency table. So you're constructing a frequency table. That's step 1. After you construct the frequency table, what you then want to do is for every index, for every question mark, find the lowest frequency in the frequency table, increase it by 1, and then put that into a list of things that you want to replace. Okay? So originally what I did was something like this, which I think some of you also did. Originally what I did is I found the frequency guy, I increased it by 1, and then I just stick the guy, stick this low C inside to replace the question mark with this guy. So this actually doesn't work because the example was something like this: A, B, C, D, blah blah blah, Y, question mark, question mark. So for this example, if you just do it this way, your first question mark will become Z, and your second question mark will become A. So this is not correct. It should be AZ, not ZA. So in order for this example, and the reason for that is because you are doing the replacement right away. So in order to fix this error, what you need to do is you have like a container. I call it a corpus. It's just an empty array. So instead of doing the substitution right away, you calculate who do you want to substitute. Calculate all the potential substitutes, put them in a giant array, and then sort the array, and then do the substitution. So you split it into 2 parts, step 1 and step 2. So this will allow you to get the correct answer. Okay, let me see if there are any questions. I missed the point of only calculating the increase. If you find the whole cost, the formula is more complicated. Rate finance. Okay, so I think you're sort of on the right track. The formula is not more complicated. It's more easy. The formula is actually the number of occurrences before you plus the number of occurrences after you. So basically, the total number of occurrences in the entire array, entire string. Yeah, so you find the whole cost of the whole array. Yeah. I see. Yeah. So the thing is, I didn't realize that either until I started coding. That's why you see my code is so messy. It's because you see this qi equals frequency the copy, because I thought I need to know the frequency at the point of the question mark, which I actually don't. So it's a bit of a trick. So you can try it out later on your own, actually. I think now that you know it, you should be able to figure it out yourself. Yeah, so you just find the frequency. So this part is the trickiest. I think a number of people, including I think Venkatesh, got tricked by this. But once you know how to do it, it should be doable. Okay, alright, the last one. Okay, last one, unfortunately I wasn't able to do it. Looks like some people were able to. I think Gold. Gold, and who was that? Q4 code, bro. I didn't manage to do a workable Q4 code, unfortunately. But I'll show you what I have. Okay, Q4 is a bit weird. Give me a second. By the way, while I have people here who are looking at answer discussions, I'm curious. I actually make videos for questions, for like random LeetCode questions, to go through them. I'm wondering if people actually like those videos or not. So I'll write in chat. Yeah, I'm curious if people actually write those problems. So I might do a video on question 4, just question 4, because those are the most interesting ones. Yes, you and me both, Venkatesh. Yeah, it is what it is. But let me know what kind of contents you enjoy, right? So that I know what kind of contents to produce. Okay, Spider-Man, do you also do code forces? No, I've not done code forces before. Because code forces... So the reason why is because I think code forces is more like competitive programming style. And LeetCode is also, some are really like competitive programming style, but other LeetCode questions are more similar to real-world programming or technical interviews. So the point of my channel is actually not competitive programming. The point of my channel is to help people learn how to program better, and also to help them pass technical coding interviews. So I'm going to focus my content on things that are more relevant to real life, right? If you want to find a job or you want to become a better programmer. So if you want to become like a expert competitive programmer, that's probably another channel, unfortunately. So no code forces is the bottom line. But I might pick some good questions from code forces to work on. So that's also why I don't do a lot of like super hard questions, because the super hard questions are not that relevant in real life, right? Either for coding skill increases or for getting through a technical interview. Okay, question 4. Find the sum of the power of all subsequences. You're given an integer array nums of length n and a positive integer k. The power of an array of integers is defined as the number of subsequence in the sum equals to k. So return the sum of the power of nums. Okay, so this actually sounds really, really confusing to me. But essentially what it's doing is, okay, the first part is quite classic, right? Given a subsequence, you want to count given an array, you want to count how many of subsequences have their sum equals to 3, right? This thing is a very classic, is essentially the 1-0 knapsack problem. It's classic dynamic programming. Okay, so this is the standard dynamic programming question, the most standard dynamic programming question of all time. But instead of just counting how many subsequences you have, which sum equals to 3, you are supposed to count how many subsequences. You're supposed to count, find all your subsequences and count for each subsequence how many subsequences do they have whose sum equals to 3. So you're summing up the subsequence of subsequences. Does that make sense? So for instance, for 1, 2, 3, this guy 1, 2, 3 has 2 subsequences with sum 3. And this guy has 1 subsequence with sum 3. This guy has 1 subsequence with 1, 3. So essentially what you're doing is you are like you're finding the subsequence of subsequences. That's the part that's a little bit different. Okay, and that's the part that you need to think about a little bit. Okay, so I actually did not get that far. I managed to do the part that allows you to count how many subsequences there are whose sum add up to 3, and do it using dynamic programming. So that's the classic 1-0 knapsack problem. And then I tried to do a power set and just do that, but apparently it's too slow. So basically what you want to do is you want to this is kind of hard to read. Essentially what you want is let me read the chat real quick, sorry. So Spider-Man, I'm preparing for CLG placement. What is CLG? Can you describe it to me? I'm not familiar with this acronym. Is it some kind of technical interview? Or is it like a school thing or university thing? So Red Finance, college placement. So I can tell you for US colleges, it will not help you at all. There's no coding interview. For colleges outside the US, I'm not super sure. But I'll be surprised if they actually make you do LeetCode style competitive programming questions. For college interviews, you should focus on your scholastics. So SAT, or I think I think most people here are from India. There's an Indian equivalent of the SAT, which I think is I was told is like super hard. So you will need to focus on your standardized tests. So Red Finance have the final round of a coding competition for your age next week. Usually very long, you're 60 minutes. For quickly interpreting a problem. So I'm not an expert at programming contests. I'm just not an expert. I actually teach programming at a university. I'm a university lecturer, and I'm been a software engineer for a very long time. But I don't participate a lot of programming contests. My suggestion is two. One is look at the example. Look at the example. The example will help you a lot, because usually the words are very long, and then you read and you're like, what the heck is this guy talking, right? Even this question right here, it's so I don't know what this is talking about. It's subsequence or subsequences. Only after looking at example, then you'll be able to understand. So the second sort of trick that was taught to me for competitive programming is you should memorize a few standard algorithms. So for instance, the DP with memorization for 10 knapsack should be one of them. So if you memorize this, you memorize like the sliding window, whatever. There's always a lot of sliding windows. So you memorize all the standard, very, very standard algorithms. You'll be able to modify from there. So you don't waste time like figuring out, oh, you know, what are the cases in the DP that you need to look for. Okay, let me get back to this. Essentially what you want to do to calculate how many subsequences are there is you can use like include, exclude. So basically, let's say you want to calculate the number of subsequences in 1, 2, 3 that add up to where k equals to 3. Then what you want to do is either you want to start with 1, right? Either you take 1 or you don't take 1. So if you say yes to 1 or no to 1. Okay? So if no 1, so in both cases, your new nums is equals to 2, 3. And if you take 1, your new k is equals to 2. If you don't take 1, your new nums equals to 2, 3. And your k equals to 3. Okay? So that's the standard 10 knapsack problem. You see like coins, you know, whatever rubbish, not rubbish, but whatever class, that's the same thing. So yes, you do this, no, you do this. So that's what I did here. So yes is this, no is this. And if I reach the base case is if you know, the base case is something like you're left with 2, and then k equals to 3, and then this is like 0, right? Because you know that there's nothing left in the list, and k is non-negative, then it's 0. Yeah, so that's how I did this. But the question is not asking you for what is the power of a subsequence. It's asking you for the sum of all powers in all subsequences. So this one I didn't manage to do. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to use some kind of DP to solve this also. I will try it out and I will list it. Okay, all right. So that's all we have for today. Thanks everybody for being part of the contest and being part of the live stream. I hope that this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments in the chat what kind of videos you think would be most useful to release. Aside from that, I'll see you next time. Bye.